actually carried out geophysical survey in so many states in the country.
Politically, in 1987, that was when we do what you now call the zero-party election.
The things you use to earn money are there. It's just for you to know how to think of developing them.
Representing the people is you being a trophy of dividend of democracy to the people. The people are the beneficiaries.
The state now, the environment is quite friendly. The foundation has been laid for even foreign investors, other investors within the Nigerian economy to come in.
You said you're here to sing a new song. Did you sing that song?
Yeah, and the melodious one at that. Let me put it this way. I think I was primed by the instrumentality of the governor of the state, properly primed to achieve results in the DESOPADEC. And why do I say this? I went there first as the executive director for finance and administration. And because of my training, I used that office as the major engine room to cause a transformation in the administrative structure of the place. I was given a charge by the chief executive of the state to go there and bring the DESOPADEC into the pigeonhole of the state public service. Because before we got there, it was anything goes. It was like an empowerment scheme, so to say. So it was a daunting task though, but because I've always had the political will. Most of the things we talked about, we can do them once you have the political will. I have that will, and I went there to achieve results. Now, that office and my performance there seems to put me in a good picture of what to do when I became the chief executive. So the things I couldn't do then, because I wasn't the CEO, I had no excuse not to do them now that I became the CEO. So it was a seamless process, graduating from that ADFA to become the MD and the CEO. And like I said, that was going to be a new song. You can bear me witness to it, that the song is new and melodious. From the position of the staff, when we came in, the last time that the promotion was done in the DESOPADEC was in 2011. And in that 2011, there was no standard, no procedure. It was let my people go. Everybody on their payroll were promoted to the next grade level. Of course, it doesn't work that way in public service. And because of that, and Brindley funds, they could not sustain it. When you promote everybody on your payroll, irrespective of their performance and all of that, no, it doesn't work that way. So we came in to try to straighten that. And we have done that. We've been able to agree about, as I say, what percentage of the people do we promote? Because the place is overloaded. The DESOPADEC is an agency that was, at conception, was set for about 300 staff. The bulk of which were supposed to come from the state public service. But it turned out to be something else. When we came in, we had about 3,000, close to 3,000 staff in the place. So it was overbloated. There was no room for them to sit, no tables, nothing for them. So when you are saying they don't come to work sometime, you have to ask yourself, is there a place for them to even stay if they come to work? So it was like an empowerment scheme. So we need to now sit down properly to say, how do we actually bring this place into the public service properly? How do we streamline it? How do we get them graded? How do we do the establishment provisions for the place? So this was what we have to sit down to do. I'm lucky to have gather some experience from the public and the private sector, because I've worked in both of the climes. And we had to bring that to bear. And we're able to formulate that process of going through interviews in line with the public service. We have to do that in collaboration with the Office of the Head of Service. First, our people do not know what they call the APAFORM, the Annual Performance and Evaluation form that must be given, a report that must be given to people. So we started that process. We have to engage the staff, do some in-house training for them to know that what we are going into is for their good, so that they should know that working in the DESOPADEC is a career of its own, a career in public service. So they were quite receptive, and we started off that way.
What other tangible legacies have you planned to do?
The main area of infrastructure development, we added human capital to it, which was played down in the past. We have to bring it to the fore. And these two areas of fiscal infrastructures and human capital, I think from the feelers from the field, from the appreciations people are showing, both home and abroad, we've done well. We have a number of legacy projects that are standing tall across all the ethnic nationalities. Oh, yes. Administratively, we are just done with the DESOPADEC Tower, which is being furnished now. We hope to crave the indulgence of His Excellency the Governor to give us a day to come and commission it. That's at his Liberty Dome. That tower was something I promised, because the seed money with which we started it was from what we saved from the biometric exercise. We were trying to ensure that people come to work and all of that. I've addressed the press previously on that issue. In the various ethnic groups, in the Shekiri land, we have a whole new town concept. The Obogoro community there. Virtually every structure of importance you see in that place is DESOPADEC driven. It's a whole new town concept. In Niger, ethnic nationality, we have just delivered just the type of the healthcare center we provided at Agoloba. We've delivered one at Okibo Zion now, fully equipped. Masterpiece. The highest of the schools that we built, the one in Ogla, we felt we need to bring in certain infrastructural deficit that were noticed to be able to unveil it to the world. I think we are almost done with that. It's a massive edifice. A lot of civic centers, the one in Uzere, you know it, Pute, then schools, whole school system, from the beginning to the end of it, all the DESOPADEC and signature tune. And anywhere you go, indeed in this state, particularly in the mandate area, here you see the green roof on the, which is acting to us on our yellow walls. You don't need to ask anybody. You just know that it's DESOPADEC working. We have them dotted around everywhere in the landscape. And for our riverine people, we've been able to procure a number of fishing boats, because we are meeting people at their point of need. Let me just quickly add that most of the things we do, it is the demand of our people. We started our process of a town hall meeting when I became MD to meet all the ethnic nationalities in their domain. We come there, the various community leadership, cultural leadership, with the kings and all of them will come up. They will bring the requests from the various communities, collect them, and give to us. That was what we did all around. And the result of that is what we use in drawing up our budget.
Okay, so you had a bottom-up approach.
Yes, we pick from what they are demanding as to what is of most importance to them. Because how do you feel when a community say they are in need of a health center, for example, and then instead of providing them a health center, you now went and maybe provide water scheme. In most cases, maybe they have it elsewhere before. And if they are vandalizing it, the people will just be walking past. And you ask, why are you not reporting that they are vandalizing it? No, say, that the DESOPADEC water that they vandalized. And it's going this way. It's not calling it their water project, says the DESOPADEC project. That is not supposed to be. So you give them something that they can own. And when they own it, they protect it, they secure it. It affects them because they know they demanded for it. That is one thing that we have done differently from the past. We have all of these changes, and then in the human capital development, we have this flagship, the DESOPADEC Skill Academy. We've come to the realization that it's not all about going to the universities, polytechnics, to get to certificates and all of that. We must train the people to be able to be self-sufficient, to be able to be self-employable. And so going into the vocations is the way to go now. With the explosion in our population and the finances of the country coming down, you need to empower the people by rediscovering themselves in what they can do, get themselves trained practically, and equip them after that practical training. So that is what we captured in our DESOPADEC Skill Academy. Here we have about 10 different vocations that are being taught. And by the best of hands, practitioners in those various areas are the ones that are training these people. After the training, these people go through various stages of certification. Before the certification that is done by the academy on its own. And we run it in a way that is quite enticing. You have a matriculation system, the training program for 6 months, and then the convocation and all of those stuff. And every of those starter packs are just enough for them to start off on that trade that they have learned. And the outcome of this exercise is overwhelming, very lovable. People have applauded it, they've embraced it. We are on the verge of going into our third stream now. If you see the level of requests from people, maybe because we've been able to showcase them in our DESOPADEC weekly program, and everybody's coming to embrace it. The students that have been trained previously, a lot of them are well established. We give them seed money to go and establish, apart from the starter packs, to rent their shop and be able to start up. That's what we provide for them. And this has gone a long way to change the narratives.
You are from Isoko. Isoko part of Delta State. That's an area that's agrarian and oil producing. Now, going through Isoko land, the sights and sound of it sometimes is not complementary to what comes out of that. What comes out of the land in terms of oil, in terms of agriculture and all that. How can we turn the narrative around? I mean, you are a leader, you are an Isoko leader, you're a national leader, you're a party leader.
Well, yes, no doubt we are producing so much, particularly in the oil and gas. And we are bearing the brunt because gas flaring is not something easy. It's affecting our homes. The locations are not too far from the homes again, because development is taking buildings close to them. Most times when there are leakages in the pipes, either by way of third-party interference or corrosion, equipment failures and all of that, the effect takes a long time to heal. Once a drop of it, just a barrel, goes into a stream, for 5-6 years, you can hardly fish there without you see perceiving the smell of that gas. And on the farmland, it affects the yield. So cumulatively, this is affecting our people very negatively. Now, to ameliorate this, I think maybe we would have been given more in terms of industries. So that maybe our children now, not having farmlands to turn to, can be gainfully employed in other areas. Maybe we need more educational institutions, facilities at the higher level. Yes, I want to appreciate the effort of the governor of the state, who have just given us the investing in the Ozora axis, the Delta State University of Science and Technology. But above all, we really need further presence. Because when we talk of this oil, what is coming out of our land and gas, the revenue is more of the federal base. Just a portion of it comes back to the state, so to say. So there is a disconnect between what we are producing, the populace of the Isoko people, and the federal government. There is no federal presence in Isoko. None at all. And that is appalling. It's nothing to be happy about. Whatever you have today is either the local government has been able to put something there, or the state government has been able to put something there. The era of federal government coming in to say they use UBA to do 1 or 2 blocks of classroom. I mean, those are not the kind of things we're talking about. We need federal presence. We need Isoko. Maybe if some of them are able to get themselves into position of appointment, they'll be able to remember home somehow. But beyond that, by the instrumentality of policy formulation and implementation, Isoko should be captured in the federal budget. Isoko should be captured in the siting of educational institutions. These glaring gaps are what I have noticed over time. That is why I mentioned to you some time ago that I want to have a shot at the National Assembly. To use my contacts of having stayed in all the geopolitical zones of this country, the friends I've made over the years, in my childhood days and my adulthood, to be able to connect them, to come to our rescue. So that when I come up with a bill or something to attract something to my area, I will have them supporting me. Yes, those that are there may have tried their best, but we needed to add more. And I think that new vista I will provide.
Are you passionate about the people?
Very. In everything, Isoko first.
Wouldn't that be seen as clannish?
No, not at the level of going to represent the Isokos in the National Assembly. By the time I go beyond that, I bring every other person that are part of that constituency into the first.
You carrying Isoko responsibilities and the burdens and the expectation, I guess.
Of course. My shoulders are broad enough. I will deliver. And I know I will deliver. My shoulders are broad enough. I know what is happening. I know how to tackle it. They just need a voice, a connection. That's what they need.
What's your dream of Isoko land?
I dream of an Isoko land that a people will be proud of what they produce, that for what they put into the country's economy, something commensurate have come to them. So that as we turn out these graduates, they have something to do, the people are happy, they are self-sufficient. Once the Isoko people are self-sufficient, I will have achieved my dream. And once I can achieve it that way, I can now replicate it in a wider spectrum. You know, in all of these things we are talking about, you need a people that think together, think alike, the oneness of these people. You need a place that is safe. It's not enough to attract business ventures. When you ask them to come and the place is not safe, they will not stay. So you need a safe land, a safe environment that the people can come in. Culturally, we are one. A lot of it is falling off. The last of the visitors is what I'm fighting very hard to sustain, the Isoko language. I know the world over, they know my passion for the Isoko language, because that is one thing that has remained standing in cultural identity of our people. And when the Isoko people are together, we can really bond them so that we speak with one voice. All you need is a leader that can bond them, the one that can communicate to the old, the young, the cultural, the religious, one that can move around them. And that is what is embedded in me. That is what I intend to provide.
Finally, sir, some say Bashorun Askia is bullish. Some say he is a go-getter. The same direction. Are you bullish? Are you a go-getter?
Well, for those who says I'm bullish, it shows they don't know me. They say I have time to come close to know me. I can never be bullish. I came from a very humble background. I've seen the whole hard and good times. We started by talking of my childhood days, traveling with my soldier uncle. I've seen the war. I saw it all. It happened as I was growing up. I talk of indigent students. I know the pains of our people. Why will I be bullish? I've just been opportuned. God just singled me and gave me the opportunity. Sometimes I look back and I say, is it me? From that humble background. A man who, to get secondary education, I was made to change from my father's name to my maternal father's name. Because my uncle, that is maternal, insisted if I have to train you, you have to do this. And I needed education. That's the height of it. So why would I be bullish? I know the pains of the children in the street out there. I'm streetwise. I grew up in the streets. But I'm a refined, wise version of the street people. So it's just that I went through the fire. You know, gold in a raw state, if you put it through the furnace, properly fired, it now becomes gold and shining. I'm shining today because I've gone through it. And if you really go through that, you can never, never be bullish. I think it's those who don't know me that talk about being bullish.
Agone Chamber, do you do one of Isoko land? Wish you luck. Thank you, sir.
Wow, such an interesting personality. Honorable Chief Bashorun Askia Ogieh. You know, in recognition of his human capital development and his undying love for youth empowerment, women empowerment, and job creation initiative, he was conferred with several titles from different kingdoms, such an honor to behold. For active participation, it's important you follow and subscribe to our different social media handles right on your screen. My name is Isioma Adigwe. On behalf of the producer and the entire production crew, I say thank you for riding with us on this particular episode of your personality program, Delta Scope. See you next week.